The great hall of the orbital station Nexus Prime fell silent as the holographic projection materialized in the center of the diplomatic chamber. What appeared before the gathered representatives of 17 species was a creature that defied easy description, part organic nightmare, part technological horror. The Predator King's form shifted between flesh and metal, his forearms ending in razor-sharp talons that could slice through reinforced titanium like paper. Ambassador Veltar of the Zephyrian Collective was the first to prostrate himself, his crystalline form refracting the harsh light from the projection. One by one, the other alien diplomats followed suit, the insectoid hive minds, the gaseous ethereals contained in their mechanical suits. Even the proud Centaurian warriors bent, their heads in submission, all except the humans. "You know why I have come," the Predator King's voice reverberated through the chamber, each word dripping with malice. "The tribute is due. Each species will provide what they promised, or face extinction." Captain Sarah, Chen of the Terran Federation, stood firm, her small frame dwarfed by the alien dignitaries around her. Behind her, the other human representatives, scientists, engineers, and military advisors, maintained their positions with quiet dignity. "The Zephyrians will provide their quantum processing matrices," the Predator King continued, his serpentine tail lashing behind him. "The Hive will surrender 1,000 of their worker drones. The Centaurians will offer their finest warriors to serve in my army." Each species named submitted with resigned acceptance. They had seen worlds burn to ash for defying the Predator King's demands. They had witnessed entire civilizations reduced to cosmic dust. Compliance was survival. And the humans? The King's multiple eyes focused on Captain Chen like targeting. "Lasers will provide 50 of their brightest children. Their developing minds will serve my research purposes well." The silence that followed was deafening. Chen felt the weight of every gaze in the chamber, alien and human alike. She had been authorized to negotiate, to find alternatives, but the King's demand was non-negotiable. 50 human children aged between 8 and 12, to be taken to the King's research vessels for experimentation. "No," Chen said simply. The word hung in the air like a physical thing. Several alien diplomats physically recoiled, as if Chen had just signed a death warrant for Earth itself. "Did I mishear you, human?" The Predator King's form solidified, becoming more threatening, more real. "Did you just refuse my demand?" "You heard correctly. The Terran Federation will not surrender its children." Before the King could respond, a small voice spoke up from behind the human delegation. "Actually, I volunteer." All heads turned to see a young girl, no more than 10 years old, step forward from the observation area where families of diplomats had been waiting. She had bright eyes and wore a simple blue dress that seemed to glow under the chamber's harsh lighting. "Emma, get back!" Chen started, but the girl raised her hand with surprising authority. "I'm Emma Rodriguez," the child announced to the chamber, her voice clear and unafraid. "I'm 9 years old, and I volunteer to go with the Predator King." The alien diplomats exchanged confused glances. The King himself seemed momentarily taken aback. This was not how tribute usually worked. "Interesting," the King mused, his head tilting at an unnatural angle. "The young human offers herself, but I require 50, not 1. "With respect, Your Majesty," Emma said, using the formal address with perfect pronunciation. "You said you wanted our brightest minds for research. I'm actually quite bright. I've been reading about you and your species for weeks now, preparing for this meeting." She walked forward with confident steps until she stood directly beneath the King's projection. "I know you're not really evil. You're a scientist like my mom. She studies black holes. You study civilizations. The tribute system isn't about cruelty. It's about understanding how different species react under pressure." The chamber erupted in whispers and clicks and electronic harmonics as the various species processed this unprecedented development. The King's expression was unreadable. "Continue," he said simply. "The Zephyrians give you technology because they value efficiency above all else. The Hive sacrifices workers because the collective matters more than the individual. The Centaurians offer warriors because honor in battle is their highest ideal. Emma looked around the chamber confidently. But humans? We don't follow those patterns. We're chaotic, unpredictable. That's why you want to study us. The king leaned forward, his projection becoming more detailed, more focused. And what makes you think one small human could provide the data I require from 50? Emma smiled, an expression so purely human that several aliens took notes. Because I'm not just offering myself as a test subject, I'm offering to teach you about humanity. Real partnership, not just observation. You've been trying to understand us from the outside, but we're the kind of species you have to experience from within. For a long moment, nobody moved. The Predator King's multiple eyes studied the small girl standing beneath his massive projection. Captain Chen held her breath, knowing that this child had just changed the trajectory of human-alien relations forever. You would come willingly to my ship? The king asked. I would come as a cultural ambassador, Emma corrected. With full diplomatic immunity, regular communication with Earth, and a return date of my choosing. You get to study humanity up close, and we get to study you. Fair trade. The king began to laugh, a sound like metal grinding against stone that made several diplomats cover their auditory organs in pain. But it wasn't malicious laughter. It was the sound of a being genuinely delighted by an unexpected development. In 3,000 years of collecting tribute, the king said, his voice now carrying a note of respect, no species has ever negotiated with me as an equal. Most certainly no child has ever had the audacity to propose a counteroffer. He paused, considering. Very well, small ambassador. You have convinced me that studying one willing human child may indeed provide more valuable data than 50 unwilling ones. Your terms are acceptable. The king's projection began to fade, but his voice remained clear. However, understand this. You will see things that would drive adult minds to madness. You will experience the true nature of the universe in ways your species has never imagined. Are you certain you wish this? Emma straightened her shoulders and looked up at the fading image with absolute determination. Sir, I'm human. We've been staring into the abyss and making friends with monsters since we climbed down from the trees. I think I can handle it. As the projection disappeared entirely, Captain Chen placed a protective hand on Emma's shoulder. The young girl had just redefined humanity's relationship with one of the galaxy's most feared entities, through nothing more than courage, intelligence, and the uniquely human ability to find common ground with anyone, even predators. The tribute had been paid, but not in the way anyone expected. And somehow that felt exactly right.